I was diagnosed at the peak of my career and I didn't give up. The story begins on a sunny Monday morning, the kind of morning that seemed to promise good things. Helena, a strong, intelligent, and dedicated woman, woke up to the sound of her alarm clock and the smell of the coffee she always prepared the night before. For her, that aroma of fresh coffee was the signal of the start of a day full of possibilities. She put on her favorite work outfit, that blue shirt that made her feel confident, and looked at herself in the mirror, carefully adjusting her hair. She smiled to herself, thinking, "Today is going to be a great day." She had no idea that just a few hours later, her life would change forever. The peak of life, Helena was living her best moment. His phone rang non-stop with offers and opportunities. His name was spoken of with admiration within the company. Colleagues sought his advice. Leaders trusted his decisions. She felt fulfilled. It was as if he were on top of a mountain, contemplating all that he had achieved. And the best part, I knew I still had a lot to achieve. As she left the house, she heard her daughter's voice calling, "Mom, you forgot the lucky kiss." Helena laughed, ran back, and received that loud, resounding kiss. It was their little ritual, the lucky kiss of the day. With that kiss on the cheek, she got into the car and drove to work with a light heart and full of hope. In the office, people greeted her enthusiastically. She had an important presentation that day. It was the kind of meeting that could take his career to a new level. The slides were perfect. The numbers added up. She was prepared. When he finished presenting, everyone applauded. A colleague commented, "Helena, you were born for this." And she felt that this was one of the most incredible days of her life. But while everyone was celebrating, a small detail went unnoticed by everyone except Helena. A notification on my cell phone. It was a message from the clinic, where she had had routine checkups the previous week. Return to consultation. Results available. Helena didn't think much of it at the time. He thought it was just another check, something simple. But deep down, something, a pang, an instinct, made her heart race a little. After work, she drove to the clinic. It was late afternoon. The sky was orange, as if hand-painted, revealing a beautiful yet strange sunset, as if it knew something important was about to happen. Helena entered, sat down, and waited for her name to be called. While waiting, I looked around. Mothers with children, elderly people, young people, all there for different reasons. And she thought, it's just another normal day. But when the door opened and the doctor smiled with that gentle smile, Helena's heart tightened. It was a different kind of smile. Sweeter, be more careful. And that worried her. The doctor asked her to sit down. He took a deep breath, and then he said, in a calm but firm voice, "Helena, we found something and we need to talk carefully." Time seemed to slow down. The noise from the street disappeared. It was as if the entire room had stopped. Then came the three words, "It's breast cancer." Helena felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath her. It's as if I were falling into a dark, silent, and endless place. She blinked, trying to understand, trying to breathe, trying to hold on. The doctor touched her hand. "I know it's difficult, but we will fight together. And you're not alone." At that moment, Helena did not cry. He didn't scream. He didn't say anything. She only thought about her daughter, in that lucky kiss of that morning, in a career that was flourishing, the life she wanted to live, and everything seemed so fragile. That night, Helena walked home slowly, as if she were walking inside a dream. The daughter was fast asleep. The husband was already in bed as well. She sat alone in the dark room. The clock was tick-tack. The house was silent. And wings. Finally, Helena let the tears fall. All she could think about was, why now? Why me? Will I be able to do it? And it was at that exact moment between fear and fragility that an invisible strength began to be born within her. The force that would transform all of history. If these stories touched you, leave your comment, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos. The impact of diagnosis. The drive home that night seemed longer than usual. Helena drove slowly, almost as if she wanted to postpone the moment of walking through the door and facing her real life. The news echoed in her mind like a bell that wouldn't stop ringing. It's breast cancer. Each time she repeated it, her heart tightened. When he arrived home, everything was in its place. The daughter's backpack on the floor, the lunchbox on the table, the kitchen light on. It was the same house as always, but Helena was no longer the same. She walked slowly to the room. She looked at her daughter sleeping, hugging a pink teddy bear. And there, with a broken heart, he thought, what if I'm not here to see her grow up? It was the first time that fear had shown its face in its entirety. Deep down, she felt she needed to be strong. But at that moment, all she wanted to do was cry until there were no tears left. The following morning, Helena decided to tell her husband. He was drinking coffee when she sat down across from him, holding the cup with both hands, as if she were an anchor. I need to tell you something. Her voice cracked before she could finish the sentence. The husband, noticing the trembling in her eyes, put down his cup and held her hand. Helena, what happened? She took a deep breath, and finally he said, I received the results of the tests. They found a tumor. Silence filled the kitchen. The husband stared at her, trying to process what he was seeing. Then he stood up, hugged her tightly, and murmured, we'll get through this together. It was an embrace filled with fear, but also with promise. In the following days, life turned into an avalanche. Clinic connections, appointments scheduled, specialist doctors, additional tests, biopsies, papers. The information was coming so fast that she couldn't absorb it all. It was as if Helena had suddenly been thrown into a completely new world, a world of medical terms, statistics, risks, percentages, treatment options. She, who had always been in control of everything at work, now felt incapable of even managing her own emotions. During one of the consultations, the doctor calmly explained, Helena, the tumor is malignant, but we have treatment, and we have a real chance of a cure. Helena listened, but her mind was only thinking, is this really happening to me? One day, while taking a shower, Helena placed her hand on her breast and felt the lump more clearly. It was tough. It was real. It was physical proof of everything that was happening. And there, alone in the bathroom, water running down her face, she let her body slowly fall until she was sitting on the shower floor. And she cried. She cried because she was afraid. She cried because of the uncertainty. She cried because her life was upside down. She cried because, for the first time, she didn't know what the next step would be. But in that crying, something important happened. The fear left and strength began to enter. The next morning, the daughter woke up early, ran to the bed and called out, Mom, look at the drawing I made for you. It was a drawing of two little dolls, one with long hair, the other with a huge heart on her chest. It's you, Mom. Your heart is that big. And Helena smiled. Not just any smile, but a smile that came from the soul. At that moment, she understood something very powerful. The cancer could even try to mess with her body, but it would never touch the heart. It was there that she made her first big decision. I will fight. In the doctor's office, the doctor asked, Are you ready to start treatment? Helena took a deep breath. She thought of her daughter, no husband, in the life she still wanted to live, in the stories I still wanted to tell. And he replied, Yes, I want to start now. The doctor smiled. It was a sign that the journey was just beginning. The impact of the diagnosis did not destroy Helena. He transformed her. From a strong woman, she became an invincible woman. From a brilliant professional, she became a silent warrior. From someone at their peak, they became someone who would discover a new peak, a much greater one. Now, she was ready to face the next phase. The battle of treatment, the days leading up to the start of treatment, were like a silent countdown. Helena tried to live a normal life, but nothing was normal. Each step seemed heavier, each night seemed longer, and each thought came with a hidden fear behind it. But the day arrived, the day she would begin the fight. The clinic was spacious, clean, and well lit, but to Helena, it looked like a battlefield. Upon entering, he saw other people waiting. Young, old, men, women, all with different perspectives, but with one feeling in common: hope mixed with courage. A kind nurse greeted her. "Good morning, Helena. Ready to begin?" She wanted to say no, but he said, "Yes, let's go." She was led to a room with several reclining armchairs. Some people were reading, others were sleeping, others stared into space. Helena sat in the light blue armchair. The nurse inserted the 4-drip and catheter, adjusted his arm, and explained, "This medication will help destroy the tumor. It might hurt a little, but you're strong." Helena looked at the transparent tube and thought, "This is how I'm going to fight, drop by drop." When the first drop entered her body, she felt a chill inside. But it wasn't fear. It was the first spark of the fight. The first 24 hours were relatively calm. But on the second day, the effects began. Joint pain, nausea, tiredness, constant feeling of having the flu. The body felt heavier than ever. On the third day, she woke up and could barely get out of bed. His legs were trembling, and she cried, not out of fear but out of frustration. Helena, who had always been so active and strong, now needed her husband's help, even to pour water into a glass. That's when she learned another lesson. Strength also means knowing when to ask for help. 2 weeks later, Helena noticed something on the pillow. Wires, many wires. She stared for long seconds, as if she were staring at a part of herself that was leaving. More hair fell out in the shower. As she ran her hand through her hair, more strands came loose. It was inevitable. It was painful. It was symbolic. She took a deep breath, looked at herself in the mirror and said, "I'm not going to let this define me." That afternoon, he called his family out into the backyard. He placed a chair in the center. She smiled with tears in her eyes and said, "I'm going to shave my head, and I want you all with me." The daughter held her hand so tightly, it seemed as if she was trying to stop the world from hurting her. The husband turned on the machine. The sound of the engine cut through the silence, and strand by strand, the hair fell out, and her strength grew. When she finished, Helena ran her hand through her hair and smiled in a new way. A smile that said, "If cancer wanted to take me down, it chose the wrong person." From then on, life entered a new rhythm. Waking up weak, take medication, sleep a lot, return to the clinic, exams, more chemo, forced smiles, good days mixed with bad days, faith in every small victory. She also began to notice something extraordinary. The people around her were changing. Friends would show up with food. Colleagues sent motivational messages. The neighbor would leave notes on the door saying, "Stay strong." Even strangers smiled at her in the clinic, as if they knew exactly what she was going through. It was an invisible army supporting his fight. Despite all of that, there were moments that only she felt. Sleepless nights, severe nausea, fear of looking at one's own body, to feel different, feeling vulnerable, to feel lost. And in those moments, she would hide in her room and cry softly so no one would hear. One day, the daughter came in and found her crying. With his innocent eyes, he sat down beside her and said, "Mom, if you're scared, you can hold my hand. I lend you my courage." Helena smiled through her tears. And then he understood. Even when we're adults, sometimes it is the courage of a child that saves us. As the weeks went by, Helena began talking to other patients. It was as if they were all sisters in a silent battle. One of them, named Marina, said, "Helena, what are you feeling? I felt it too, and we are together." These conversations transformed the clinic into a less frightening place. Laughter erupted. Outbursts of frustration were happening. Small victories were celebrated. The blue chemo room has become a place for shared courage, true stories, hope shared among all there. Helena learned that no one goes through this war alone. After months, the day of the last chemotherapy session arrived. The nurse turned on the floor and said, "This is the last one, Helena. You did it." She closed her eyes. He remembered everything. The diagnosis, the bath on the floor, the chair in the backyard, the fear, the strength, the child who lent her courage, and she cried. But this time, they were tears of victory. When it was over, everyone in the room applauded. It was as if the world were saying, "You fought. You resisted. You've overcome this challenge." The battle with treatment wasn't just physical. It was emotional. It was spiritual. It was transformative. Helena lost her hair, lost her strength, lost sleep. But he gained something much greater, the certainty that he was capable of weathering any storm. Now she was ready to move on to the next phase, not only the fight against cancer, but about reconnecting with life. The inner transformation, the fight changed my body, but it changed my soul even more. This sentence could summarize what happened to Helena after the most intense phase of her treatment was over. It wasn't just a fight against cancer, it was a journey of self-discovery. After the last chemo session, an eerie silence fell. For months, Helena had appointments, tests, medications, and strict routines. She knew exactly what to do, how to do it, and where to be. But now, the clock seemed to be moving slower. The hours seemed empty. The house seemed too quiet. It was as if the body had survived, but his mind was still on the battlefield. One morning, while having coffee, she thought, "And now, who am I after all this?" One day, still weak, Helena stood before the large mirror in her room. She took a deep breath before facing her own reflection. No hair, a little thinner, deep dark, circles under the eyes, brands that told a true story. Upon seeing that image, he did not immediately recognize himself. But then, she placed her hand on her chest. He felt his heart beating, strong, present, resistant, and for the first time, she truly smiled at herself. "I am here. I survived." In the following days, she began to notice small things. When she smiled, her smile was more genuine. When she hugged her daughter, the hug lasted longer. When I saw the sunset, it seemed more colorful. When I listened to music, it was as if each note resonated deeper. It was as if the treatment had removed the excess and leaving only the essentials. And the essential part was beautiful. Even so, there was a shadow, the fear of relapse. Every little pain drew attention. Every discomfort turned into worry. Every consultation was accompanied by holding my breath. During one of these appointments, the doctor noticed her nervousness and said, "Helena, you are alive." And that also means learning to trust your own body again. Those words affected her deeply. It wasn't just about surviving. Era relearning how to live. Returning to work was also challenging. Before, she lived at a fast pace, full of goals and responsibilities. Now, she entered slowly, observed more, breathed more. Her colleagues welcomed her warmly, but she realized she wasn't the same professional she once was, and that wasn't a bad thing. Before, she wanted to be the best. Now, she wanted to be as human as possible. Gradually, he began to use his story to inspire other people. Colleagues who never had the courage to get tested before started scheduling appointments. People who had been hiding their fears began to ask for help. And she discovered a new purpose: to be a light in the lives of others. One of the most transformative scenes happened on a quiet night. Helena was drawing with her daughter on the living room floor. The girl made a simple drawing: a woman with no hair, with a giant heart on her chest. And he said, "That's you, Mom. You've become even stronger." Helena held the drawing as if it were a treasure, and he understood. It didn't need to be perfect. It didn't have to be the same as before. She didn't need to hide her scars. Her daughter saw something in her that perhaps she herself did not see: courage. One day, Helena was walking in the park when she felt the wind hit her shaved head. The sun touched her skin gently. She closed her eyes and felt something she hadn't felt in months: freedom. And there, in that simple moment, she realized the fear hadn't gone away, but she had learned to walk beside him. And that wasn't weakness. It was maturity. It was wisdom. It was strength. Helena began sharing her story with other women, in groups, in meetings, in messages sent privately, even in simple recordings on a cell phone. Each time she recounted her journey, she realized she was becoming stronger. And he also realized something even bigger. His story was helping other people not to give up. She's no longer just a patient. It became an inspiration, a lighthouse, a voice, a true example of overcoming adversity. Helena's inner transformation was not a one-off event. It was a process. She discovered that it is possible to feel fear and still be strong, that beauty lies in scars and stories, that surviving is more than just overcoming an illness, that life has value in the little things. Cancer changed her body, but it renewed his soul. Now she was ready for the next chapter of the journey, the reconstruction of life. When life shows new paths, the chemotherapy was coming to an end, and Laura, for the first time in many months, woke up with a lighter heart. The sun streamed through the bedroom window like a silent embrace, and she thought, maybe I'm starting to live again. Gradually, the body began to react. The tiredness was still there, but now it brought a promise that it had all been worth it. A new relationship with the mirror. One day, Helena stopped in front of the mirror. The colorful scarf covered her head, but her eyes were different. Previously, she saw herself as a woman who was always running. Goals, deliverables, deadlines, projects. Now, she saw someone stronger than she had ever imagined. She smiled at her reflection for the first time and thought, I am no less of a woman. I am more, much more. Learning to breathe Helena, he started taking short walks. At first, 5 minutes, then 10, then 20. Each step felt like a silent thank you. Throughout the body who did not give up on her. For the family who held her hand even on the darkest days. Through friends who respected their silence. For life who was giving him a second chance. Even the simplest things gained color. The smell of coffee, the wind on my face, the sound of my mother's laughter. It was as if the world had become brighter. Discovering a new purpose upon returning to work, Helena realized that everything was the same, but she wasn't. The chair was the same. The name tag was the same. But now there was a new Helena occupying that space. She started talking to other women in the company, listening to their stories and acknowledging their fears. Therefore, she was invited to share her experience at an internal event. Helena, she went up on stage trembling, but when she looked at the audience, she saw dozens of attentive faces cheering her on. And at that moment, something inside her clicked into place. She understood that her role there was no longer just to lead projects. Era leading Livesto, inspire, care for, and encourage self-care and self-love. The reunion with oneself. One late afternoon, Helena was walking along the beach. The sea moved forward and backward, as if breathing along with her. And for the first time since her diagnosis, she didn't think about the past or the future. She thought only of the present, that perfect moment when she was alive, whole, and at peace. She smiled at the horizon and whispered, as if it were a secret, "Thank you for everything, even for the pain," because now she knew that pain also teaches. It teaches them to value things. It teaches you how to start over. It teaches you to truly feel what it means to be alive. Life after the storm. Helena, he reached the end of his journey like someone returning home after a long trip. She wasn't the same anymore, and deep down, she knew she didn't have to be. The scar, the scarf, the memories of chemotherapy, it was all part of a story she never imagined living, but which she now carried with pride. It was like a book marked by strong, difficult, but necessary pages. Helena, he realized that time is a rare gift. Before, she lived as if the clock were an enemy chasing goals, always adding more things to her schedule. After her cancer diagnosis, she learned that time is not meant to be filled, it is meant to be lived. Time isn't about doing more, it's about feeling more. Time is not what passes, it's what remains within us. And she chose that from then on. What would remain in her life would be love, care, and purpose. In a firm voice, Helena reinforced something she wanted every woman, every mother, every daughter, and even every child to understand. The body speaks, and when it speaks, we need to listen. She began teaching the importance of self-examination and regular checkups, explaining it simply, with care, and without fear. If you know yourself, you protect yourself. If you take care of yourself, you save yourself. That phrase became his motto. Helena, he also understood something powerful. No one knows the extent of their own strength until it is called upon. During treatment, she faced nights of despair, days of fear, and moments when she thought about giving up. But he discovered that courage doesn't appear all at once, it's born small, like a faint light, and grows as we continue. And in the end, she realized, strength is not the opposite of fear. Strength is what emerges even when fear doesn't go away. The career continued, but in a different way. Helena began to reject what stole her peace and embrace what nourished her soul. He decided to be more present at Sunday lunches, on aimless walks, and during long hugs. She became a role model both within and outside the company, not because she was perfect, but because she was genuine. In the final part of the story, Helena looks at the camera, the stage, or whoever is listening as if looking directly into their eyes and says, if you're going through something difficult, remember, the storm doesn't last forever, and when the sun returns, you will not be the same person, you will be stronger, wiser, and more alive. She takes a deep breath and finishes with a genuine smile. Life broke me into pieces, but I chose to rebuild myself in a more beautiful way. And so ends his story, with hope, with purpose, with love for life. If these stories touched you, leave your comment, like, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss the next videos.